Welcome to the Business Spotlight podcast. My name is Kay Cote, and I am your host for today's episode. And today on the show, I have Ed Maliski, CEO of Oak Therapeutics, as my guest. We're going to be learning about his business, his journey to business ownership, best practices, and challenges that he's faced to give you that inside look to what it's like to build and operate a business. Welcome, Ed. So great to meet you. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Of course. Well, before we dive into all things business, I'd love to learn a little bit about you and share about you with our audience. So take us back as far as you'd like and share a bit about yourself.
I was born at a very young age, and I've managed to survive uh, for a long time. But during those years, one of my interests has always been medicine. I didn't particularly want to be a practitioner, but I wanted to get involved. I love chemistry, and so I got involved in medicinal chemistry. I worked at initially at Sterling Winthrop Research Institute, which sold out, and then I went from there to Glaxo, from Glaxo to Merck, and from Merck to Amgen, Amgen to retirement, retirement to Cure Pharmaceutical, and from Cure Pharmaceutical was spun off Oak Therapeutics. My so my I had Big Pharma experience and desire to make a difference with all the stuff that I learned over those years.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm excited to dive in and learn more about Oak Therapeutics. Thank you for sharing a bit about your backstory. So looking at Oak, now, when did you start the company?
Hmm. Well, it really started. I had retired and I got bored after about 3 months. And so I hooked up with a NGO in our area just when I was living in California. And from also a former Amgen employee. And we went to Africa. And when we were in Africa, on visiting the facilities that they supported in the east coast of Africa. One day we went to or I went to one of the hospitals, the remote hospitals near Nairobi. And while we were there, I had a friendly chat with a couple physicians from Minnesota. And kind of comparing notes. While we were there, a woman came in with a child in the throes of advanced stage malaria. And unfortunately, the child didn't make it. And that was a very sad situation. But what was equally as sad was watching the mom who was hysterical.
Mhm.
And this child died from a disease that is curable, and probably a few dollars worth of medicine would have saved his life. And so uh, the the leader of the NGO and I agreed to form a company to do something about this. And eventually that company became Oak Therapeutics. And so Oak Therapeutics is really all about drug delivery. So we are cutting edge technology for drug delivery. That's our claim to fame and what we're all about. And the uh, that translates down to trying to make it easier for people to take their medicine. So maybe they actually do take their medicine when they're supposed to. And that's kind of been the theme for Oak over these years. And um, so that's kind of pretty much uh, the story of the journey. The company itself, we're kind of really focused on uh, again on improving adherence by making it easier to take, and the audience that we are going after initially, uh, we've been going after has been pediatrics. Because it's an underserved population. People don't realize that little children are not just tiny adults, they are very, very different physiologically. They're changing all the time, and their systems are just not the same as an adult system. So adult medicine doesn't, medications are not really designed for uh, children. And in many cases, especially with infectious diseases, these are fairly substantial dosing. And so they usually end up grinding up the tablet or emptying the capsule and mixing it with something and giving it to the child. And then when you grind up a tablet, you expose all the bitter taste of the medicine because that's what's the coating on the tablet is really protecting you from, or the coating on even on the capsules. Um, and so it's a terrible, terrible taste for them. It makes it very difficult for the child, and it makes it very difficult for the caregiver, who's usually mom. Uh, and it just makes for a terrible experience for everybody, and it really doesn't lend itself uh, to good adherence.
Yeah. Yeah. I know when I bite into a pill, it doesn't taste pleasant. I couldn't I remember
And
as a kid too, and I've dealt with that. So, what you're doing at Oak, are you remedying that somehow or
yes,
okay.
what we've done is we searched around for a platform that would be more child friendly. And it turns out it's not just children that have problems, adults have problems too, swallowing tablets and stuff. But sticking with the kids for just a moment, we what we ended up doing was we went for oral dissolvable strips. Now, what that really means in plain English is we put medicine on Listerine breath strips and mask the taste, and it goes down. Now, so it melts in your mouth, and you swallow it with the saliva, and all is good. Now, that's very easy to say. Reducing that to practice is a challenge, and it has been. The idea of delivering medicines on oral strips is not new. It's been around for 40 or more years, but uh, there are a lot of barriers uh, to putting medicine on a strip, and so we looked at what the barriers are, and we've been systematically eliminating the barriers. So as a result, we can put more medicine on the same size strip as anybody that we know of. And as a result, that opens up a door. So traditionally, um, these strips have been used for very low dose medicines, things that, where you're taking 10 milligrams or less. We're at somewhere in the vicinity. Well, we have one product that's 300 milligrams on a strip, and we have uh, uh, we have gone as high as 400 on a strip. So we can go there, and again, it isn't hard to put 400 milligrams on a strip. It's hard to put 400 milligrams on a strip that dissolves quickly and fits in the mouth, especially with children. So you know, I always tell the story of this one guy. Say, yeah, we can put 150 milligrams on a strip, and he showed me the strip. It was about the size of a business card.
Oh, couldn't imagine.
Just okay. What do you plan to do with this? He says, oh, well, the people can just fold it up. And I said, well, that's kind of silly because when you fold it up, it's not going to dissolve quickly and it sort of defeats the purpose. The other thing that so that's one of the things that distinguishes us in this particular field.
Yeah.
Another one is we have a strip that's commercially available that treats dry mouth, which doesn't sound like a big problem until you start to look at the people who suffer the most from dry mouth, and a lot of them are cancer patients. It may be from the chemotherapy that they're getting, or if it's head and neck from the radiation, the saliva glands uh, suffer and they aren't producing the same amount of saliva. And as a result, people have a lot of trouble uh, sleeping at night. So they generally wake up once or twice during the night and have to take a drink of something to get rid of the dryness in their mouth so they can get back to sleep. So we came up with a strip that sticks very well inside the mouth. It's very small. It fits comfortably up in the cheek area or down, whichever is more comfortable for you. So you put it there and you let it dissolve, and we have it so that it will dissolve over an 8-hour period. So you can go to sleep and get a night's rest. And some of the feedback that we've gotten is heartwarming, at least to us. That you know, people who say, "This is the first time I've slept through the night in years." You
That's
know,
incredible. Well, I kind of want to interject and like dive into a couple of things that you mentioned.
Yeah.
This is great. I'm so excited to hear your advancements that you've had towards this your company and developing these products. And so I kind of want to take it back. So when were you I do like when were you incorporated? Did you start the business? You mentioned it was after retirement, but what was it a couple years ago or when did you start?
The Oak Therapeutics was incorporated. It's a C corp. It was incorporated in um, 2016.
Oh, almost 10 years. That's
Yeah, yeah,
exciting.
yeah. It's taken 10 years to be an overnight success. Yes.
Usually the case.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to learn about your team. I know you mentioned to me before our call that you have a team you're working that works with you. So, how many team members do you currently have?
There are four.
A mighty
Uh,
four. I love
two,
it.
two in the lab and two admin people. And so I'm CEO, I'm CSO, and I take the garbage out on Tuesdays.
Oh, well, I love that. So your team is working hard. Now, I love to share stories about where CEOs and founders like to show how hard it really is to be in business, to, show like let our listeners know that they're not alone. Other people, other CEOs, other business owners, they're not alone. So I love to share real things you're going through. So what has been your biggest challenge that you've had at Oak within the company, whether it be, you know, getting the product out there or, team effort? What's been your biggest challenge lately?
Uh, I think the biggest challenge is what it sounds like a nice kind of change, but people are very resistant to change. And especially uh, when you get outside into some of the developing nations, people, medicine is supposed to taste bad, not good, and it's supposed to be a pill or an injection or something like that, and so when you pose it, they kind of wonder if it's really medicine or not,
Mm,
and so I think that that's a big problem. I think the other biggest challenge is finding an investor. Um, I'm, I'm sure you've never heard that before.
oh, because are you right now currently in like seed funding or phase where you're looking for investors to help support and grow the company?
So far, we've been able to grow friends and family. We've got a few contracts that we've done contract work for people such as the dry mouth strip. And we've been fortunate that we've done well with the SBIR world. And so we've been granted several phase one contract or grants, one contract, and we just started a phase two, and we have another one being reviewed this month. So the good news is we've got a lot of money, but the bad news is, I mean, a lot of money from the grants, but the bad news that gets consumed up by all the testing and stuff that we have to
Mhm.
pay to go out. So you don't make a whole lot of money doing it that way. And the company needs to grow. We've gone as far as we can go on a shoestring, and it's time to move the company forward. One of the major issues that remains for us is manufacturing. One of the not so good things about oral strips is that the current manufacturing schemes um, uh, are expensive. They're expensive to build, expensive to run, and the packaging is expensive, and so we've come up with a strategy to cut the costs down, uh, and but now we've got to put it in place. And part of this phase two is investigating some of our ideas to see if now that we've got uh, technology to make or to create new strips, now we just got to figure out a way to manufacture them and make them affordable uh, and challenging. And as we've grown as a company, we've also realized that there's a lot more we can do with the strips and just deliver medicine the way we want. And so we're kind of really well positioned for the future of medicine, which is heading in the direction of well, certainly precision medicine and personalized medicine are two things, and strips are ideal for that because you can actually um, easily adjust the dosage on a strip. If you need less, you just cut it. It's and
That's great.
unlike a tablet, it doesn't fracture and pieces go flying in all directions. Or a capsule, and you're trying to figure out what half of it is or a quarter of it is. Unless you have a weighing scale or something, you can't really do that. But with a strip, you can rip it in half if you have to, or cut it with a knife or scissors or whatever. And so you can do custom dosing. So the tailored dosing is one of the real advantages of it. And in the biomedicine, we're looking at alternative deliveries in terms of absorption in the mouth, so it goes directly into the bloodstream, which is something that's required for most biomedicines. If you just take them as oral dosing, the uh, drug that's inside of them is usually a protein or something like that, and they're digested in the stomach, so it doesn't really go anywhere. So you end up with no medicine going in. You've got good source of amino acids, but not
But you're
but no
looking.
medicine. And so uh, those are the types of things that we're heading for. Biomedicine, uh, the different types of uh, adjusting uh, the dosing, and that was part of the reason why we went for it with pediatrics, so that you could very easily adjust the dosing for the size of the child. So it wasn't the one size fits all model that most of us have to deal with.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you for sharing about that and sharing the challenges that you're currently facing. Um, I see we're coming up on time. I could talk to you forever about this project. This is incredible. So, I'd love to share how can people get connected and support what you're working on, get involved with your business. Feel free to share any contact info or website.
Oh, okay. So one thing, if you have any connection with Mark Cuban, I sure would love to talk to him because I'd like to be their pediatric for the Cost Plus company that he formed. A fantastic move on his part. Okay, that's my plug.
I love the call to action. That's great. Come on,
Um,
Mark.
yeah, and if you do want more information, certainly oaktherapeutics.com is the website for what we're doing. We're also on LinkedIn, and this will be on LinkedIn as soon as I can get it there.
Yes.
Uh, and you can also uh, send to info at uh, oaktherapeutics.com, and we'll connect with you and go forward. And if anybody has any great ideas how we can help people, uh, that's the bottom line. But it's a real good opportunity to do well while doing good. It's a big population in need, and so there is money to be made. But at the same time, there's a lot of lives to be saved. And I'll end my uh, comments with right now, malaria was a hot topic a few years ago, and it's sort of gone to the background with all the new with AI. Oh, we do use AI, by the way. AI and biomedicines interests and other diseases taking its place. But it was still, you know, the number of children under the age of 5 that die every year from malaria is the equivalent of two 747s filled with children crashing every day.
Mm.
It's a lot of people. And if that was happening, we'd do something about it, but we don't see it. And I think that's the problem with a lot of these situations. So we're also focused on HIV and tuberculosis coming back in the U.S. So
That's a scary one. Well, Ed, thank you so much for sharing your story and for just informing, the audience about what you're building and the benefits and how it's helping create a global impact in a positive way. So thanks for being on the show today.
thank you for your time. I appreciate it.